How's it going, my dudes?
Welcome back to another video. This is Goddess of Genesis, and for today I'll be talking a little bit more about the meta SR heroes. Okay, so I'm talking about natural SR heroes. We're gonna start a video with Venus. Obviously, my Venus is no longer SR, she's an SSR, but this is not going to be like a tier. It's not gonna be who's better than who. There is no order of who's the best. Okay, but if you know more about the heroes that I'm going to bring up, you're going to understand the reasons why. Okay, so we're going to start with Venus. She's a little bit interesting, okay, because her skills are very similar to one SSR character, and the SSR character I'm referring to is Isabella. Okay, so their skills are really similar, but Venus is slightly poorer in terms of percentage and stats. I'll go through that a little bit more. This is the reason why she's so good, she's so meta right now, is because she has straight up lots of heals. Okay, so if you take a look at her talent first, okay, so this is like her passive, speed plus 25 when HP is below 50%. That's not really a big deal, so to speak. Her speed is quite slow, and she works well being slow because when you need heals is when the turns have taken. She grants the target with a shield with HP equal to 15% of her int. Okay, granted that her int is not really that high, it's just an A+ ranking, but it's still something. Okay, so all her heals will actually add on a little shield, and her basic attack does nothing at all. Her first skill, Idol's Cure, heals one ally with 270% of her intel plus 1000. Additionally, heals all allies with less than 20% HP by 50% of int. Okay, so the 50% of int again is not gonna be a lot, in a sense. Okay, but for my Venus, if she doesn't crit on her heal, she can actually heal one ally up to 37,000 HP. That's, in my opinion, really insane. Okay, that's really crazy. And if she crits, she actually heals up to, I've seen 50,000 HP in one go. So 50,000 HP, if your tank is low, boom, this is gonna make your tank go green, and as such, your tank is gonna be able to protect your team again. Okay, her ultimate just heals all allies by a huge amount as well, and then grant all allies regenerate. Okay, so regenerate, what it does is each action restores HP by 30% of the caster's int. Her support is also like a single target huge heal, which is also really nice if you want to use her as a support. If you don't want to use her as a main, that's fine. She works really well as a support as well. The heal is really big. And another thing that really makes her stand out a lot is her perk. Okay, so take note of this, not all priests have the same perks. So for Venus, she has Seal of Wisdom. For, I think, Cupid, she doesn't have Seal of Wisdom. Starting from the second turn onwards, whenever Venus completes a turn, okay, whenever she completes her turn, she will evenly distribute the HP of all allies and then restores 12% max HP. That's crazy, dude. This is broken. Okay, this is really broken. Isabella has this skill as well that makes Isabella really broken. Okay, Venus is like one tier below Isabella. Just take note of that. Seal of Wisdom. So, for example, if one of your heroes are down to like 40% HP, just one, okay, let's say it's your tank, down to 40%, she's in the orange, your Valkyrie is in the orange. As long as Venus takes a turn, she doesn't even need to heal, okay? As long as she takes a turn, you even out everyone's HP, and then you heal 12% on top of that. That's gonna top your whole team off. So when I run my team with Venus, my team is always topped off. Another reason why Venus is so good is because of her typing. Okay, so she's a fire type, which means that she's gonna add to the bonus of the crit. So, like, for example, if you have 3 fire types deployed, including supports, it's gonna give all allies 15% crit rate. That is huge. Venus on her own is such an essential unit. Like I use her in all my teams. Okay, I use her in all my teams. She is absolutely essential. Alright, moving on, Poseidon. Also a remarkable unit. Okay, so in terms of the meta right now, he's really game-changing. If you manage to raise him up to, let's say, 4 or even 5 stars, his talent upgrades to a point where it becomes pretty good. Okay, so whenever he gets attacked, there is a, let's say you raise him up to 5 stars, which is not going to be a problem, 100% chance to inflict 1 stack of frost mark on the attacker. So if the attacker hits you 5 times, he's going to get frozen. It may not seem like much, but the thing is, if you're able to keep taking the taunt and keep tanking that way, chances are the enemies are just going to freeze themselves when you need them to be frozen. Okay, so the key word is when you need them to be frozen. You don't, okay, starting early game freezing the enemy is cool and all that is really awesome, but thing is, on the 4th or 5th turn onwards, right, that's when hell really breaks loose. Okay, that's when the game becomes very crucial to the point where, you know, one little thing can break everything, because that's when you start getting attack bonuses. Your damage output becomes a lot higher, and that's when a single freeze is gonna make the difference, okay? And also, you can also like pair him up with other units like Gabriel, who can push the debuffs further and further and freeze them much more frequently, okay? So his talent in itself is really, really, really useful, but let's not forget that the rest of his kit is also really, really good. Let's start with Tidal Ward. Removes all debuffs basically, okay? And it immunizes against incoming damage for the target ally once. And that thing, I feel like it lasts forever. Like I've never actually seen it lapse unless the target got hit. So I've seen my Poseidon actually Tidal Ward 2 different units at the same time. And when he uses it, he increases his own RSL by 20% for 2 turns. So if you do not know what RSL is an incredibly important stat, okay? If you think crit rate is important, RSL is the thing that breaks crit rate. So what RSL does is it reduces the chance of receiving critical strikes. I'm not sure whether is it additively or multiplicatively. Let's assume it's multiplicatively. It's still, in my opinion, really, really good. So if your RSL is like at 100%, you're gonna reduce the enemy's crit rate by 100%. Moving on to his ultimate, this is where he becomes really good in terms of the meta right now, okay? So the meta right now is having a tank, or maybe 2 tanks, okay? And then having 1 super strong DPS, which is most of the time gonna be a Lucifer. If not, it's gonna be a Pandora or something like that, okay? I just spoiled myself. Okay, so his ultimate Storm stat, what it does is, it does an AoE hit that taunts every single enemy, okay? And the thing is, what taunt does is, not only can you now only do a single target hit, all your tanks with protection, right? Like for example, Valkyrie or Marco Polo, they can no longer intercept attacks, which means that if they are taunted, you can actually attack their allies and not be intercepted. So Poseidon on his own prevents all tanks from intercepting, which is crazy. So it's really common now to see 2 tank lineups in teams in general, okay? So the moment you drop a Poseidon, both their tanks are negated, which means that you can go straight for their DPS really easily. So what else it does is it also causes the enemies to gain frost marks, right? So all in all, his kit is really awesome for the current meta. The second thing why he's so good, he has Death Denied, okay? So as you can see over here, restores 5% HP after taking action. I believe it goes up to 20% at max, okay? So he restores 20% of his HP after taking every action. So he doesn't even need to use a skill to heal himself. He's passively healing himself, okay? So that's Poseidon, that's hero number 2. Third hero on the list, Alice, okay? She is really, really good. She is really, really good, okay? So for several reasons, okay? Let's look at her talent first. After taking an action, she heals 2 allies with the lowest HP by 55% on int. This is not a lot of heal. It's not going to like protect you from suffering an instant kill on the next turn, okay? However, after taking action, 50% chance to additionally gain 1 energy. This is the cap, okay? So even if you raise her to 6-star, it's still going to be capped off at 50% chance. It is still really good, okay? Because like in the early game where you need energy really quickly, she is the battery that actually gives you all that energy, okay? So it's not just her talent that does that. If you take a look at her skill, Dream Devourer, gains 2 energy and enters the guard status. Basically, you press that skill, you gain 2 energy, she enters the guard mode, and you heal 2 allies. And of course, there's a 50% chance for you to actually gain 3 energy from that, which is crazy. It's really good, but in terms of the meta, she is so good because of Midsummer Night. Okay, so inflicts 1 stack of charm on all enemies. That's alright, that's not a big deal, okay? But the thing is, you put the main target to sleep. So you can always, like for example, if you're up against a single tank comp, like a Valkyrie, you can actually just Midsummer Night 100% sleep, and she will go to sleep, and she will not be able to intercept or anything like that. You know who else can sleep? Medusa can petrify as well, right? But the reason why she is so much better than Medusa is because of her speed. So look at her base speed, it's 142. She's the fastest unit in the game. She's the fastest hero in the game, hands down. So it's really easy for her to be built really speedily, and she will always outspeed anyone, and she will drop the sleep on the first turn. So that's really awesome. I think that's crazy. Like whenever I meet her, I know I'm in for trouble. So she's the reason why I go for double tanks. So that if she sleeps one of my tank, my other tank is still available. And this is the 4th unit on my list. This hero doesn't get enough attention, okay? The Pandoras that I see running around literally one-shots anything that she encounters. Literally anything dies, okay? So everything about Pandora is so good. It's the only reason why I feel that she's not a natural SSR is because she is really way overpowered. Like in terms of her output, she's just way overpowered. She destroys tanks in like a single hit as well. Okay, so that's insane. So this is the reason why she's so good. Okay, look at her talents over here. Increases crit by 6%, up to 18% at the beginning of each turn. So whenever she takes a turn, her crit rate goes up to 18%. That's huge. And then of course it goes higher. Of course, it goes up to 36%. Wow. Okay, that's crazy. It goes up to 36%. Yeah. So that's double of this, which is really insane. 36% is gonna give you the ability to counter RSL heavy teams. Okay, but you know what? You don't even need to worry about RSL enemies because of her kit. Okay, so second part of her talent deals an additional 20% of damage to enemies with more than 50% HP. So this is really big. This is half the effect of a full set of Sagittarius artifact. Okay, so if you take a look at Sagittarius, increases damage done by 40% to targets with more than 50% HP. You need 12 points into Sagittarius to activate this, but her talent itself already gives you an additional half of whatever Sagittarius could have done, which is crazy. Sagittarius is one of the most meta artifact sets for now. Okay, for now. Let's start with the ultimate. Okay, Butterfly Illusion increases own int, magic defense, and physical defense by 20% for 3 turns. Basically, 3 turns that she takes. If she drops an ultimate, she is more or less guaranteed to survive long enough. It doesn't matter if she gets hit by AoEs or whatever, she's gonna survive and actually cap out her crit rate from her talent. Okay, so that's the synergy over there. There's a lot of good stuff on this hero. And then let's take a look at her skill, which is arguably one of the best skills in the game. It's really one of the best skills in the game. Demonic Gift starts charging after 3 turns, deals magic damage equals to 530% of intel to the target. And by 3 turns, it's not 3 of her turns, it's 3 consecutive turns. So you could follow with an ally, with an enemy, then with an ally, bam. 530% of it to the target. This attack ignores protection. Okay, so like I said before, the meta is to run tanks that can actually intercept your attacks. But the thing is, with Pandora, nothing gets intercepted. Okay, if she does her demonic gift, she basically nukes whoever she wants to nuke, and that target is dead. Okay, 530% is a huge hit. Okay, while Butterfly Illusion, which is her ultimate, if it is still active, extend Butterfly Illusion's duration by 2 more turns. Look at Intel S- at 4 stars. That's really big. Okay, this is really huge. For an SR hero, this is really good stats. Decent speed. Okay, decent speed. You might want her to be a little bit faster so that she drops the skill as early as possible, Demonic Gift. Okay, and then very early on she'll nuke someone down. Okay, so she will instant kill pretty much any DPS out there. Well, let's not forget that she also has the Dark type, and what happens with 3 Dark type is your damage bonus plus 10%, or at 5 it's plus 20%, which is not bad. And let's not forget that for her perks, she has 2 really good perks. Okay, so one is Incineration. Upon entering battle, increases crit damage by 20% for 2 turns, which is big. This is really big. Okay, so for her first 2 demonic gifts, so it's like basically a 650% hit on that second skill, right? And then Sacred Strike as well goes out to 20% when HP is above 50%, increases damage done by there is a lot of damage on this hero. She needs to be used. Like, she is definitely much better than Lucifer. In my opinion, she's a lot better than Lucifer. And this will be the 5th and final SR on my list, Jester. So all in all, like the meta of the game is really about tanking, right? Tanking and just nuking behind a tank. So that's the meta. It works really well right now. So another way to get around that meta is to not only just ignore it's not only just to CC the tanks, it's not only to ignore the tanks, but what you can do is do a lot of AoE damage. Okay, and in terms of damage, Jester does a remarkable amount of AoE damage. Looking at his talents itself, Zealous Agitation, when HP is below 50%, increases crit damage by 30%. It's good when his HP is below, but the thing is, if your HP is really below 50%, something is wrong. Increases crit by 15%, that alone is really awesome. 15% is really huge, by the way. Normal attack does nothing. Triple Strike. Okay, so his first skill just hits a single target 3 times. It does quite a significant amount of damage. It's very good for downing tanks. Okay, there is a lot of damage on this skill, and his ultimate, Blade of Deceiver, deals physical damage equals to 170% of strength to all enemies, 50% chance to inflict 1 stack of defense down. So even though it's just 170%, the damage that he does is pretty insane. I think it has to do with the S rank of his base strength, but there's nothing much on his perks, so that's the only downfall to the Jester. But other than that, he's just straight up DPS, okay, lots of DPS, very crit heavy, but I'll definitely push Pandora to be definitely like 1 or 2 tiers above the Jester. Time for the bonus mention over here. That's Loki, okay? She alone is not great, okay? She alone is not game-changing in any sense, but she's so good because of her talent, okay? The only reason why I would think people will use Loki is because of her talent. When the battle begins, 100% chance to inflict 1 stack of poison on all enemies, okay? So granted that everyone gets a free Lucifer, this naturally gives your Lucifer like a plus 20% crit rate or something like that, because when you're using Lucifer, Saint Slayer increases crit rate by 20% if the enemy is poisoned, okay? So naturally with Loki, with her talent, she is gonna just drop poison right at the start, and that means that your Lucifer is just gonna be super dangerous from the start. And with that combination, you could definitely crit down some tanks and do massive damage from the start, which makes Loki really, really good. And of course, Loki does extra damage if the enemies are poisoned, and of course her second skill does damage and inflicts poison at the same time as well to all the enemies, which is gonna be really nice, big AoE hit. Her int could be better, but I assume it goes up to S or something like that, so that's gonna be still quite useful in that sense. So with that said, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was informative. I hope you learned something. These are heroes that are used frequently. They are used all the time. Of course, there are more. There are more like Medusa. Hattori is really good as well. There are a few more worthy mentions, but these are like the top 6. Like these are like the best in the bracket, okay? So with that said, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe if not already done so. And as always, I will see you in the next video.